just knock out of the park now, Todd. Like, they did the bad stuff. We'll do the good stuff. We got this.
Yeah.
How excited are you for this, man? I know Haas kind of your guy as well.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Obviously, SpeCial should be the overwhelming favorite, but that's always the case for almost anybody going up against Haas. So we'll see. Definitely going to be bringing his own brand of StarCraft to this series. Let's get started here. Map number 1 going to be played on Disco Bloodbath. Starting in the bottom left-hand side of the map, top left even. Playing against the blue Terran, it is SpeCial. A prime cut of Terran.
What a way to put it. In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, he is Haas. Disco Bloodbath is one of those maps that if you just look at the base, I would definitely say that's top right. I don't know what it is, but I guess the minerals are almost always like, you know, towards the corners, I guess.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I got you.
My back.
But yeah, one of the few maps that's actually not like also the actual corners, right? So like technically we should be like in the 1030. But that just sounds really lame.
Has in his previous series, like I said, played some 4D StarCraft. I don't know what was happening. Like these guys, they had like, he was playing against his countrymate, a fellow Protoss player, and it's like they had an agreement not to make any Nexus ever. They would like, in one of the maps, they mined out the map, and they were gonna long distance mine from their expand. That's how much they were committed to not expanding. Now against Terran, it would be much harder to do something like that.
Yeah.
It is capable of like proxying and doing all that stuff, but for now, it's going to be somewhat of a standard opener with the Nexus being thrown down. And no early game scout from Haas, or like very early game, I mean.
Yeah, he's actually going around. Well, that probe might be nefarious, but we'll see. SCV scout makes a lot of sense from SpeCial, as he still grabs that low ground command center. He's not going to be like, you know, overbearingly safe. And we are on, I mean, I guess a fairly large map, but going to see the Nexus, and he's going to have that backup. Not just Reaper, but also Marine in case this probe were to come later and like try and harass, but it was for something a little bit sneakier than a scout. Pylon's going down. And I'm going to guess the Stargate, he is going to be right, like a straight shot into that the main base of SpeCial.
It is a scout. Like the Oracle is going to go in and scout all the dead FTVs.
Yeah, it's a no, but it's not a Stargate. No, he actually did have a lot of gas. Oh, so he's going to follow with a sentry. Okay, so that's where the gas is going. But a Robo...
Aren't we cute trying to make predictions on what Haas is going to do?
I don't know what I was doing.
We just never learned, do we?
So, you know, you see a sentry follow-up. Of course, if SpeCial were to get back in, and he should, because he actually didn't have Haas block off the Reaper hop-up spot, which is possible. He just didn't decide to do it. And he sees no tech, then that's going to be a red flag, even though you see a sentry, which, you know, sometimes is like, oh, well,
whoa,
that might be safe. No, it's not. There is a proxy, but he needs to actually get in there and scout that there's nothing in there. He's yet to actually go deep into the main base.
Yeah. Got chased away. I think you would have died if you had tried. The sentry was ready and in position.
Yeah.
Be very careful with the rally point, by the way. Many Immortals got stuck here with these kind of builds.
Yeah. So the safest thing to do with those Widow Mines, right, is absolutely to go to put them in the anti-Oracle location. That's your first biggest threats. As you see that the National Nexus, you're kind of like checking off the list of what's like the immediate threat. And I would say a proxy Stargate, but it's not. But it is something that's hidden. It is something that's going to be aggressive. This will also help against any Warp Prisms, which you also might be anticipating. I'm sure SpeCial is thinking about all the games ever seen, ever played versus Haas, and he's ready to throw out anything. One Widow Mine will not go Warp Prism, right? He's going to need something extra, and he's not getting a Viking. He is prepared to lift those Widow Mines into that medevac and go for a drop if he thinks that he can, basically. And it's going to be triple Widow Mine. There they go. A little bit of an anti-timing on this one. Unless he scouts the army moving, nah. The medevac's going to go a little far to the east.
Haas is hoping for this.
Yeah. I think so.
This is planned. This is totally planned.
I mean, if it's not waiting for the third Widow Mine, maybe it's like a little bit earlier, but this is around the time that they would pick up the Widow Mines and go across the map. So it's not fast enough to actually scout something is amiss, but it is slow. It's like fast enough that it's going to be out of position to help defensively. But it does mean that things here to defend against the drop itself. So probes will be going down, but ideally exactly one at a time. SpeCial, does he have any defenses against this encroaching push? He's focused entirely on the Widow Mines. These ones pulled a little bit late. And, getting more than he should have there, but there's the push. The Warp Prism actually, I think, went down. I think it was carrying that Immortal. Oh, well, that's not a great start. And SpeCial just pulls the SCVs into the main, so he just holds up on the main.
Yeah, it's a disaster, really, here. Haz is going to be secluded away here from that main base. I think a tank just came out. A Raven is about to come out. And SpeCial already has a lot of Marines. He's got SCVs ready to fight. That Raven going to help a ton as well against this army eventually when he does fight with it. And having killed a bunch of walkers on the other side of the map, he's now on 37 SCVs against 21 probes. Haz is just going to tap out.
That's it. That is it. There's so much more potential if he's allowed to micro more, but I don't know if there was a Widow Mine maybe that was, no, because he immediately went into a tech lab after, so it was just the Marines being in proper position. So there was really no potential, but also SpeCial really knew that something was up. He had things prepared. He was on the defensive. Certainly mentally he was on the defensive. And then actually just take care of it, save most of his SCVs even, and hold up in the main was, there's nothing that Haas could do. His army was not going to bust those supply depots, not for a long time, not with tank there. And yeah, nothing to defend against the Widow Mine. So an abrupt ending to game number 1. But while it was a little sooner than I expected, I am on the side that I think SpeCial might just be a little too solid to succumb to Haas's weird tricks.
No nonsense Juanito here. Ready with the defense, picked up the War Prism, and after that, I mean, there was just no way for Haz to get inside of the main base. And even though he was, cutting off resources in the natural, it was just always going to be in a world of trouble. Very nicely executed.
That's it's just not like the War Prism died and that was kind of it. Yeah, GG. But there's so much potential if that wasn't the case. But Haas, his first trick of the series has not worked out. I know Haas is capable of going into even a macro game, but I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to say more mid game, mass charge lots, and Archons that can be really annoying and sometimes hard to scout. All that requires is one bad move out, and then you jump on them, and those can be really annoying, can catch even the greatest Terrans. But I'm actually not so much a fan of any one-base builds. I think SpeCial will take care of that. And I'm not really a fan on these proxy techs as well on the 2 bases. I think that SpeCial might just be too strong against it.
Yeah. At the same time, though, these were some of his best builds when he was the wildest that he ever was, right?
Yeah. All it takes is one of them working, and then suddenly SpeCial is reevaluating how he's defending, and then it snowballs, right? But is that really going to happen? Game number 2 on Triton here in the top left. Up 1, it is the blue Terran, SpeCial.
His opponent in the reds gonna have to really use a better build here if he wants to be able to come back in this series. The Taiwanese Protoss, it is Haz. If that's going full NA by SpeCial, I think many people will want to go full NA.
Yeah. Is Haas going full NA? Is facing the NA player? Maybe. Who knows it? Maybe you just got that prepared for the rest of the NA players that are going to show up.
Did the Dash go full NA in the previous segment? Yes, they did.
I think they did. I think they really did. First, it was okay. They got a little bit ahead, and then they just threw it all aside, started talking about fries and stuff. I don't know, man. Mayo and fries is disgusting, Roddy. I'm sorry.
For some reason, Cat Eyes brought it vinegar or something. It's
Pig was bringing it up. Yeah, it's actually it's totally. I didn't realize it's a British thing, but it is a boardwalk thing. Vinegar on fries.
And now we're talking about it.
Well, you know what? I guess. Oh damn. We're going full NA. Sorry, Todd. We once again have a Nexus and a Command Center and an SCV Scout. It's just, why would you ever not SCV Scout against Haas?
Yeah, it really feels like it's been the key for a lot of these players to play like they should be against him. Like obviously in the previous game, SpeCial made sure early on there was nothing too crazy happening in that there was at least a Nexus on the natural, and even that proxy on the map was negated greatly. And he didn't mind going for the counter-attack with the Widow Mines after all. He got quite a few snipes.
Yeah. Everything went smoothly back at home, so why not? This time he does wall off the Reaper hop-up spot, though. And I was surprised that didn't happen last game. And the desk brought it up, and it's an excellent point. New maps, better options to defend against those initial Reaper scouts, and just, the question mark of where are the common proxy locations. It could have been favorable to Haas, but didn't do it last game. He is doing it this time. But it was, SpeCial's lack of scouting, lack of what was missing might have tipped him off, right? But he didn't even actually need to directly scout that something was truly amiss, something was really missing. He still defended it almost with ease. And this is going to be a full scout anyways.
Yeah.
Don't need your Reaper. Don't need the hop-up spot.
Twilight Council gets dropped and spotted immediately here from SpeCial, but I mean, it's Has, right? Like, as soon as you exit that main base, you never know what's gonna happen. He could cancel that, start a Stargate, like, could add a Robo. Is this for what upgrades? Could be anything. Blink,
Yeah.
charge,
I mean, you look at this from
Starshine.
yeah. You look at this from like other Protosses, and you're thinking typical stuff, right? Like Blink, and then a Robo added on for safety, and then third Nexus. But it might start off that way, and then it might change. But it is so far just the typical opener we might see from like a Zest, right? Hallucinated Phoenix with a Sentry is going to get him some really decent scouting. It's possible Haas tries one, decent macro game against him. He still have another game after that, even if it doesn't go well.
It's possible.
I think so. I still think he's going to make some like clumsy decision with the mid game attack to kind of like Haas it up, but could be starting off really normal. It's starting off really normal. He's going to go scout of the main, by the way. His SpeCial is the one mixing things up a little. Banshee's on the way.
That'd be crazy if Has suddenly was like, well, everybody expects my cheese nowadays and it doesn't work anymore, so I'm just going to become a macro player. Like, nobody would believe it. Like, we'd see the macro game and we'd be like, oh, yeah, no, he's cheesing. Like, this is...
Yeah. Well, old Artosa saying, right? Cheesiest thing a cheeser can do is play macro. So we have seen Haas try and play some macro, and there's some definitely missed production cycles and whatnot from him.
But it was like tricky macro, like playing like overly greedy, like hidden bases, or like taking too many bases. And...
Oops. Yeah, you're right about that. We certainly have seen some hidden base shenanigans. I don't know how good the new maps are for that. Looking at this one, don't think so. But it's actually like super standard. I brought this the build up right in the last PVT we had. The 3 gas, 3 base, just mass gateway stuff that Malana maybe could have done, but actually went fast storm. No, this is it. This is going to be a lot of gateway units with decent, good upgrades. Actually, very good upgrades. SpeCial's going to not have any type of quick engineering bay here with this. And hopefully, as Haas has scouted the Banshees, he's also going to take no damage from the Banshees. He's got the blink, he's got the mobility, he's got the Observer now, and he's got shield batteries.
The Observer just came out around the natural, which is where the Banshee is, but I think it flew maybe towards the center. But that Banshee still hasn't gone in, right?
I don't think so. Well, he should be saving up for 2 because he knows it was scouted, which makes sense. Okay, well, yeah, just grab the probes are right there. Just grab them. But I just realized that wasn't Stem first. Stem's a faster upgrade, right? But it's not that fast. So combat shield push with Marine Tank Banshee is going to be happening. So he's going to want to keep this Banshee alive. Obviously, you always want to, but also to keep the distraction going. So Haas does not pay attention to these units in the middle or simply doesn't send them out. Now, is he paying attention? He does. He now knows there's a push on the way, but charge about halfway done. Upgrade certainly will not be done. And eventually, a Banshee will drain shield battery energy if that's really how you want to play it.
It's so hard for Has to react everywhere, right? Because he wants Stalkers kiting and disarming in the center. But then, how does he defend against both Banshees in these 2 bases where he's being attacked?
He just killed the shield battery. I mean, because like I said, that works as well. Yeah. And now the army is here on the front lines. The thing about Stalkers right now, very vulnerable to those tanks unless they can get a big concave or some type of surround. He really wants the charge lot count up. But 8 probes have gone down, and he's been totally pulled out of position to deal with this, quickly, which just adds to the pressure that SpeCial is able to apply.
Ooh. Looking like a very scary siege. Just the 2 tanks, whole bunch of Marines behind his SpeCial. It's not like he's not even macroing. He's getting double eBay, more barracks, 3rd command center about to finish as well. Steam pack is now on the way. And that's why he got combat shield first.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have medivacs because he went for Banshees. So might as well have some additional hit points on his Marines to really help with this. And it looks like the 3rd base of Has is going to fall. He's going to find himself in quite a bit of trouble there. Yeah,
very fast push, And with the Banshees doing more than their fair share of damage, this really it distracted Haas, but it also did way too much damage. It was already setting up nicely, but then hitting before that charge was done. But now finally it's done. Not a ton of Zealots. Here comes some more, and it will be broken. Good focus fire by SpeCial to try and grab as many Stalkers as possible with those tanks, but it's broken. Haas might be able to do a counter to try and make up for the severe economic losses that he's just taken here. No 3rd base, 32 workers down. I think it's his only option, actually. He has got the 1-1. He's got some upgrades. Just go for it and just, pray.
Yeah, you can expect SpeCial to be ready. Look at this. Marines, tanks, already Siege is building a wall around his natural there with that 3rd CC now morphing into an orbital. and Haz is going to change his mind. He knows that SpeCial is going to be ready on the other side of the map. I like that choice. He goes for the Templar Archives. He already has charge, so from now on, he's only going to be warping in Zealots and High Templars, and I'm guessing try and reach Storm to try and come back in this game.
Yeah, Storm can be an excellent comeback spell, right? But similar to what we saw from Time, I think SpeCial is in that caliber of Terrans where they don't necessarily need to just, they don't get scared by Storm necessarily. They don't go immediately back and turtle and get to EMPs. They can actually tango with Storms, especially if they know they have an advantage and they have better units and they have some siege tanks as well. So Haas definitely going to need to acquire a Warp Prism to get some really juicy Storms. But this is still, it's better than attacking, I guess. Like that would not have worked, but this is a Hail Mary potential comeback all due to Storm. Maybe.
Yeah, when you're in this position, you're hoping the Terran will underestimate you and then make a really bad attack. If you land a couple Storms on top of everything, then that's your one shot to win. That Banshee did fly to where I think the Templar Archives was, so that must have been spotted. Why are the Zealots here?
Yeah, there's no High Templars here. A couple Force Fields are decent, but it is equal upgrades, and Assad doesn't even get the Storm. GG. SpeCial takes game number 2, and that was not Haas doing anything peculiar. That was his attempt at a macro game. Just with SpeCial's combat shield. Well, I mean, wasn't it, right?
He's like taking to Storm and researching it, and he attacked on the ground everything at the same time and lost everything.
Only after he took so much damage from the initial push. Like his build, right, that 3 gas, the attempts to get to charge lots quickly, it can work out against some of these tank pushes because they kind of, in an ideal scenario, they almost like negate the tanks. But it was just so quick because it was just combat shields. And he was not prepared. He was not in position. He didn't stall it out either with any stalkers. And once you take that much damage, you're forced to try and do something weird. So he was forced to be Haas, especially did so much damage.
And nobody forces Haas to be Haas.
He just chooses.
Except Haas.
Nobody can beat me except B. Yeah, SpeCial we kind of expected this. We always have the guys that are like, no, you don't understand. Like, you can give me logic, but Haas is going to win. And one time you guys were right. Austin.
I always theorized that
Valencia?
As time passes by, cheeses like, Haas style and stuff are going to become less and less good because everybody will get too good against them. And it's very hard to keep on innovating and, keep on executing those to a point where the opponents still are going to make enough mistakes that those can work. So far, it's kind of proving true. I mean, Haas did have some success previously in the tournament, but now that he's meeting a player of the caliber of SpeCial, all of his shenanigans are getting completely shut down so far.
Yeah, and SpeCial really is that next step player that, he's already at BlizzCon, so he's BlizzCon material, right?
Yeah.
It could be the final game, guys. In the top left, up 2-0, he is SpeCial.
He sure is. His opponent in the reds. He needs your support here. He's going to try to come back in this series. The time when he's Protoss, it is Haas.
Oh, yes. Nice. I was just about to ask what Haas gets to show his potential last game, and he does have something prepared at the bridge right next to this proxy. Well, I'm going to say that's a proxy barracks. That's a barracks not in his base, but not necessarily in proxy to Haas's.
They're fighting for all the real estate that they can here in the middle of the map.
Yeah, all mid, right? I've heard that term before. So with this fast for proxy pylon, yeah, it's got to be a gateway. You just actually don't have any other options. And there's 7X core. So a lot of early pressure. But what's funny is the first unit out of this barracks going to scout this? No, it actually goes across the bridge to the far right, which will not scout that.
Calculated. I think this build from both players is designed to counter a greedy build from the opponents. Yet somehow they're both playing very aggressive against what they think will be a greedy build. But will either player scout? That's the big question, because neither of them is right now. SpeCial went home with the SCV, I think.
Right.
And Haz is hiding on the bottom left-hand side of the map.
Well, Haas has used his probe, well, at least twice now to just build the proxy and not scout. And that SpeCial did SEV scout. I said, like, why wouldn't you? You know, I guess he doesn't think he needs to because he's the one applying pressure. So even if it is something like this, like he's going to have production as opposed to a CC on the low ground. So he's not SEV scouting. This will be his first look at the lack of Nexus. And the first Adept will show itself. The Reaper can still get some damage done, but SpeCial, he doesn't have to worry about defending a natural Nexus. He actually just builds a bunker on the high ground of his main. And that should hold for quite some time, at least until that tank can produce, or the factory can do something. But it wouldn't mind first.
That Reaper is having a field day. There's nothing here to help and defend. I think he's about to get a Stalker. A Stargate is going to start out on the map. This is the Haas we know and love. He's going to play super aggressive, but there's not even an expansion, so it's going to be so hard for him to find damage. As SpeCial will stay on one single base. The Reaper almost gets surrounded. He does escape in the nick of time.
Yeah, barely gets that bunker up. That was actually a little scary. Didn't have a ton of units to defend that. The Woodamine, again, I was surprised to see the Woodamine first, but it does build the fastest. Doesn't have to wait for a tech lab, so he was thinking about just getting the bunker up. That makes sense. Now out of the tech lab, I don't know about letting your supply depot die just in case he does run through into your main, which may be a terrible idea, but sometimes that's actually a trick. Just bold and beautiful, right? That's Haas. But
does he get a Cyclone or does he get a tank? Actually, he's supply block.
Cyclone, I think, is the safest, yeah. Because he feels like he's defended the push at the front, and if you thought maybe you weren't, maybe that's when you get the tank, but since he's safe about the front, he's not thinking about the follow-ups, and a Cyclone is that safe option, obviously, if a proxy Stargate comes into play, which is exactly what Haas is doing.
You're absolutely correct, Zombie Grub. SpeCial is going for that Cyclone. He's even going to scout the Stargate. Might be able to see the exact timing here on that Phoenix coming out. SpeCial, so far, with a great defense. Has those start the second Nexus, he's not going to come into the one base there. And I think that would be a mistake anyway.
Yeah. And the follow-up tank is going to push back, hopefully, any attempt to contain, which Haas, that's his best option, is at least to hope to push that CC off for a little while longer. The tank will, again, be able to rebuff that. The Phoenix could, oh, that's a nice fig. That was nice. The Phoenix can lift that tank, but to what end? You know, like, maybe he gets the tank and that's a really great pickoff, but I don't think he actually breaks SpeCial in the main. Or he picks up the Cyclone or something. But there's even Viking. There's going to be 2 Vikings to help deflect that at least to a degree.
So weird. I'm just going for Phoenixes, like with the proxy like this.
Yeah.
Then throws down the Robo behind this, already thinking about what of a transition. It's so awkward too, because he has like one of his gateways in the middle of the map. Like eventually you have to assume SpeCial's gonna move out and kill that. So you would have to anticipate as Protoss, remaking that one gate, if not more, back at home in your base once that second base becomes saturated.
Yeah, nice little micro there from the Reaper. It's definitely better that the Reaper's getting all the scouting, is what I'm really paying attention to, than the probe kills. So he sees like not a lot happening in the main base, but there is still probe production. There is a Nexus. I think with the lack of oracles appearing, he figured it out that it was Phoenix. But
okay, Haas is committing a lot to this. He actually hit the Phoenixes here for the longest time.
Yeah, but now it's 2 tanks and a bunch of Marines and.
SpeCial is ready. Like, you're not gonna fool that guy. Even though he's up 2-0, he's not gonna fall asleep on his leads. He's getting fully ready. But there's just no way to attack into this. There's even that one Widowmine as well, fully ready to do a ton of damage. If you could actually force some friendly fire, maybe he could bridge that position. But I mean, this army is looking really scary here.
Yeah, that's kind of maybe the best case scenario is run over the Widowmine, splash damage, and pick up the tanks with whatever Phoenix are still alive. But I think he realized that wasn't going to work, so he just goes into the harassment. But already losing a Phoenix, just getting 5 SCVs. Might lose a second one. Really staying quite long. Now every Phoenix is going to get injured here. The hull damage, but he does get out with most of them. 8 SCVs go down. Haas has been building probes behind this. He's going to get Twilight Council now. A couple Zealots are warped in, which I'm actually a little... Okay, all right. Well, anyways, just building up an army, but one that's not really got any upgrades yet.
Oh, nice catch. Gonna force a landing, but he can just pick that up. Get back up in the air. You're dead.
The Observer is going to see everything. The Phoenix should be tracking anything the Observer doesn't see. Hopefully certainly now Haas has that map presence. He's got map control, but SpeCial is this is supposed to be where he's going to feel comfortable, right? He's like, okay, we're officially into like an okay-ish, normal-ish game. That's where I do best, right? Like I didn't take economic damage. Not really. His face was okay, but we can see it's only one worker difference. That's not great for Protoss.
I'm always waiting for like Has to really bring the craziness. Like even though it was a double proxy opener, it's still supposed to be that guy that will do nothing that's standard. But so far, he's just kind of building up his pro production. He did skip on the gases on his expo, and he does go for a fairly quick third base.
There is an option where, like, by skipping the gases and just getting that charge and then warping in a heck of a ton of charge lots, SpeCial gets swamped, right? Just the sheer amount of units, kind of surprising for this type of game. And then if they can get a jump on the Terran army and get us around, it'd be very effective. But, SpeCial is a very experienced player. He's actually faced many different metas of this matchup, many different all-ins as well. Think back even to Phoenix. The Massive Depth rather is what I was going to bring up. I think he'll be able to read into what Haas is hoping for and then not do it. As again, SpeCial should be feeling more confident as the game goes on, but he is going for the push. Charge will be done by the time he gets across the map, along with all these gateways. But the question is, will Haas actually have enough charge lots to take on SpeCial's army?
Yeah, with 5 more gateways, obviously he's going to want to build up that Zealot counts as much as possible. He does feel that eventually, though, this army falls off in terms of not having any AoE against a critical mass of bio, and especially with the kiting potential. So you might want to think here about adding either Colossus or High Templars, but without the gases being taken on the Expo yet, that's going to be really tough. And SpeCial, even ahead in supply right now, he's going to be ahead by 2 upgrades. Eventually, right now, he's got the +1 attack.
Yeah, those the charge lots he's getting without that armor is not. It's not going to look the same. It's not going to look familiar, guys. See a bunch of charge lots are like, oh, those will never die. No, they're going to die. And we even have Widow Mines being added on to really help against that potential problem. Haas does not just purely depend on these charge lots, right? He's still been roaming around with the Phoenix, and he does have a good mixture of robo units, whatever he can afford with just 2 gases. But ooh, letting this drop go a little bit too far here. Catches a few probes. That's supposed to go ahead and die here, the Phoenix. But it opened up the natural, so the Widow Mine is going to be placed before Haas can do anything about it. It's going to grab the Twilight Council and get into the nook and crannies. Grabs an Immortal as well. And this is a great spot for SpeCial because he can also escape towards the north if he thinks he needs to.
Yeah, those Widow Mines were in such a tricky spot as well. Haas couldn't just get in there and deal with them as soon as he wanted to. Marines everywhere. 16 probes have died. And the supply very heavily favoring the Mexican Terran now.
Yeah. Excellent positioning. I really like the ability to escape in case that army was a little too overwhelming. And it would have been maybe like a fair fight, but I think the escape was the safer, better option as he is in a great spot right now. 20 probes have died to only 5 SCVs here with this harassment. Warpers are also taking some hull damage, means it's going to be very weak later on. The army is found in the middle of the map. Some decent force fields come by, and that is the one favorable fight, I think, that SpeCial is going to give Haas here, but he's got more back at home. So this is just a chase on a partial army. But SpeCial doesn't lose those medevacs. He does want to get them paired up with the army back at home eventually, but they're going to take the long way around.
Does he want to go back with him? Like usually a lot of Terrans, they would want to stay on the other side of the map and pressure, but yeah, this is it. Haas just doesn't have enough, and SpeCial cruises to the next round. A 3-0 clean victory here. Didn't even break a sweat.
Yeah, even though that last game got a little bit weird, it did not matter. SpeCial just too solid. Hasn't lost to Haas's tricks in quite some time, and Haas unfortunately not going to have another miracle run into BlizzCon like previous years. But always a fun character to watch, that's for sure.
Absolutely. He'll be back stronger with less probes maybe and more cheeses and proxies.
Hopefully less probes, right? That's going to be it. Guys, we are going to the stage with SpeCial. Take it away, Cloaken.
Thanks so much, Jess. That's right. I'm here with SpeCial. Congratulations. You win this match. No sweat, my man. Was that what you expected out of Haas? Were you expecting a bigger challenge? What are your thoughts?
Well, I actually kind of studied him a little bit, so I knew exactly what he was going to do, which can't really show in game 2 and 3, because I actually knew what he was going to do. So I don't know. I feel game 3 was a little bit hard, but the other 2 games went pretty well for me.
Yeah, you looked really great. It looked like no problem for you. So I know you're coming off of some incredible performances. You 3-0'd Raynor back at GSL. How are you feeling against some of these more, well-spoken about foreigners, people like Cyril and Raynor? Are you feeling confident this tournament? Obviously, we know you have your spot at the global finals already, but in terms of your performance here this weekend, what's your confidence level?
I'm always confident, but this is not like my best style of tournament. I'm way better when I have time to prepare for an opponent, so it's always a lot harder for me to win these matches. But I think I can do well if I have some time to prepare. I'm starting to get better in this type of tournaments as well.
Absolutely, man. Well, congratulations. And one more round of applause here for SpeCial as we move on to more matches in the round of 16. Congratulations, man. We're back to the desk.
That we are cloaking. SpeCial with a pretty quick 3-0 boppening there against Haas. Back in, nights, the Monty Python, the Holy Grail, I think it was. Of course, one of the knights said, want to go to Camelot? No, 'tis a silly place. And sometimes that kind of reflects on some of these Haas series that we do get from time to time, as of course Mr. SpeCial is able to dispatch of him pretty quickly during this series. It was not pretty.
I thought you were gonna refer to the kind of the Black Knight there with kind of like, tis but a flesh wound, It's kind of like, SpeCial was kind of just lopping limb after limb there.
Yeah.
Really good decisive play. And I mean, I think we talked about him being solid. The wall in game one, stopping the Adepts and just evacuating the SCVs, waiting till he had enough units up, just shut that one down real hard.
I think the game that stood out to me the most is that final game where in the past I would often see some of these European Terrans or just foreign Terrans in general, they go up against Haas. Everybody know that there is a good chance he's going to do something very aggressive on the tiniest map out there. And then I see people go Reaper, fast expand on the low ground. I'm like, no! Like, this is the kind of stuff that's going to happen. And it really felt that Haas was just banking on him going Reaper, fast expand on the low ground. Because then that second gateway comes in super handy. You can pick up the SCVs, you keep the Reaper at home, and then you can basically force him to be a one-base Terran, and then Protoss is way ahead. But you can really see that SpeCial has grown over time as well. He's like, if there is one map where it's likely he's going to run some Stalkers or Adepts to the other side of the map, it's probably this one. Let's just go for a one-base opening, play it safe. And I mean, I hate to break it to you, James, but I kind of said it. This wasn't even close in the end. 3-0, very one-sided.
Indeed. I will eat my words, to say the least. But I'm not mad about it. Let's check in with the bracket here to see that SpeCial has now advanced on into the round of 8 in pretty quick fashion. And you can see result coming in so far. Stefano won up against Massa, which if Stefano continues on, my friends, that is going to be one of his deepest WCS runs in quite a long time.
And what's really sick is that he says that ZVT is his best matchup. So if Stefano would finally make it into a quarterfinals again, he gets another Terran play. Like, imagine if Stefano makes the semifinals. Yeah, I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves, but it's amazing to see Stefano play that well. It's something we went over on day one, but it feels like filler talk is like, oh, they're hyping up Stefano, who's not going to do anything. Yeah. And he's finally showing us that he definitely still has at least a little bit of magic. I'm not going to say he has all the magic, but he still has some magic left.
SpeCial now walks past us and pulls a face. Well, yeah, good job, SpeCial. So that is, of course, still continuing on. What's your estimations, Pig, when it comes to Stefano Massa?
I think that's a cool match. And, Massa seemed to have an edge over Scarlet mentally, but Stefano, I guess, coming into that series well prepared. And I mean, we always get excited for Stefano. We sing his praises. Canada, of course, Massa's the last Canadian player in the tournament at this point. He would love to make it one step further, as would a lot of the fans. But either way, you've got kind of a wild card player getting to the top 8. So no matter what, I think that's fun to get some fresh blood into the top 8 for this year.
All right.
The next 2 round of 16 matches, by the way, are both just killer matches. Raynor versus Utermo, I think, is absolutely stunning. That is something that has happened quite a few times. And if Utermo is playing his best, if he stays calm in a series, we all know that Raynor is not as good against Terran as he is against the other 2 races. And especially against that certain style of Terran, the mechanical units, he's definitely nowhere near as good as he is in everything else when it comes to StarCraft 2. And then also Elaine Laser versus Drogo. I mean, that's a matchup that really stands out to me. Two
yeah.
old school Europeans by now. Laser once upon a time was new. Definitely not new anymore. Guys that went to BlizzCon in the past. Yeah, that's a big one, man.
Definitely is. And of course, you can check out the other games that are going on in tandem with our mainstream game here. There is actually only one any given time now on our B streams as well. So make sure to check out the games that are going to be going on. That Stefano Massa game is currently going on a B stream. And likewise, Reina versus Youth Thermal is also going to be going on a B stream, because our next matchup coming here is going to be Laser versus Petite Drogo. Can I take a look at this for just 1 second?
Most certainly.
Yeah, this is one of our Corsair mice here.
That's actually the same mouse I play with.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. One of the sponsors, of course, here for Corsair. Fantastic stuff. But with Laser versus Petite Drogo coming up, make sure to hold on to your mice really tight, just in case that they do fly away. We're going to go on to another break here, ladies and gentlemen, for WCS Fall. And when we return, it's Laser versus Petite Drogo.